Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the reasons I decided to buy a new camera. I had been shooting my video with a very good camera, a digital single lens reflex camera, a Nikon D3300, for which I have a number of lenses, and it takes brilliant pictures. And it also shoots very good video if you can keep the camera still. And since a lot of my videos are out in nature, I either had a choice of setting the camera up on a tripod and just doing pans from the tripod and lugging the tripod everywhere I went, or I could buy a gimbal. But because of the size of the Nikon, the gimbal would be quite big and clunky and likely cost the better part of $300 and would be a real pain to use just because of its size. So I opted not to do that. I started looking then at smaller cameras. Fairly quickly I narrowed down the choice of camera that I wanted to either a GoPro of some sort, a 7, 8, or the new GoPro Hero 9, or a DJI Osmo Pocket 2. The DJI is an active stabilized camera. It's very compact and probably would have done the job very nicely. It also has a very good camera, very high pixel count, and takes nice pictures, has good capabilities. In contrast to the DJI, the GoPro uses electronic stabilization and is really optimized for action photography, which I suppose my nature photography is a bit of a subset of that, although I'm not going to be out there on a surfboard or skiing with my GoPro. But the main things that I was looking for in a camera was something that's simple, relatively sturdy, waterproof, because I like to do photography on days that the weather is less than perfect and in places where the camera might get wet. And that kind of ruled out the DJI for me because it is not weatherproof. The GoPro, on the other hand, is completely waterproof and actually can be submerged down to 33 feet. So I thought that made a good option for me in terms of what sort of camera to buy. And that's really those considerations are what led me to look at the GoPro. Okay, so those basically are the reasons I decided to buy a camera like a GoPro. Now, once I narrowed it down to a GoPro, I didn't really know which one. So what decided me really on the GoPro Hero 9 Black was price. I could buy a GoPro Hero 7 for about $250, a GoPro Hero 8 Black for about $300, or the newest GoPro, the Hero 9 Black, for $350 in a little kit that included 2 batteries, a handle, a couple of attachments for connecting the GoPro to various mounts, and a couple of mounts, a stick-on mount and a clip-on mount with a magnet on it. So those are the things I decided that kind of decided me. Really, the decision was between a GoPro Hero 8 Black and a GoPro Hero 9 Black, and $50 wasn't going to be an obstacle to that, so I decided to get the GoPro Hero 9 Black. And this picture shows the package that it came with. You can see the camera, the handle, 2 batteries, and the various mounts it came with. And that turned out to be a pretty good deal. It also came with a memory card. That was another consideration when I was looking at the DJI camera. It was the same price as this GoPro, $350, but it didn't include any extras like extra batteries or a memory card even. So I would have ended up paying $50 or $60 more for a DJI than I would for a GoPro. So basically, I wanted to up my game a little bit on YouTube with stabilization and have a little more compact camera. And So that led to the GoPro. Now, why did I want to up my game? I've been making videos for almost 4 years, and I was pretty happy with the videos I was making, and they were coming out okay, with the exception of the videos where I was walking, and then they were kind of jerky because I could not hold the camera that steady. And last summer, at the beginning of August, YouTube finally allowed me to monetize my videos. So I did. I hope people don't mind that too much, but I did it to generate some income, hopefully, to maybe eventually use to buy some new equipment. Well, that's exactly what happened. Because I monetized my videos, I wanted to up the game to compensate for it. So, as soon as I actually started getting paid by YouTube, I spent the money on a new camera. And I'll tell you a little bit about the monetization. Right now, I'm making about $90 a month on my videos. The main reason for that is that I have about 350 videos up, and most of them are monetized, and even some of the old ones, get a few views now and then and generate a little bit of income. So that's why I wanted to buy a GoPro. The next question is, how do I like this camera? Well, I'll tell you the things I like about it. It's really compact. The whole camera is about 2 inches long, and it weighs about 1/4 pounds. That is like 1/6 the size of my Nikon and about 1/8 the weight. And that really is a noticeable improvement in terms of carrying the camera around. I can just stick this in my pocket and take it out. It's very, very easy to use. I do like having the handle for it. It would be tough to hold it steady enough without the handle and keep my hand out of the view. So a handle is sort of essential, I think. I like the stabilization. It works really well. However, there are some negatives to the stabilization, and that is if I'm walking or driving and taking video, I find that around the edges of the video, the stabilization causes some pixelation and some lack of sharpness of the image. And that's a factor that you have to be careful with, and I have to think more about exactly what I'm going to do. It's starting to get a little bit breezy here, so I'm going to move to a different spot. Okay, I'm currently in the village of Bass Harbor, and we're looking at Bass Harbor. And I'm going to slowly pan across. This is handheld with the electronic stabilization on. I'm shooting at 4K and 30 frames per second. Just to give you an idea of how well the camera works. On the other side is the village of Bernard, and you can see the lobster boats that winter over here in Bass Harbor. So I hope this illustrates a little bit about how well this camera works for long shots, for closer shots, and for close-ups of people. And those are the main reasons I decided to buy this camera. I wanted a camera that had some stabilization capability. Well, here's another vantage to show you how well the GoPro works for handheld photography. I'm going to step out for just a second into the wind. Okay, I'm back at the edge of Acadia National Park. I'm actually in my front yard, but my house is right next to Acadia National Park, which makes it very easy for me to go there. I just have to step one step out of my yard and I'm in the park. So what are the other things that I really find I'm not very happy with this camera? Well, one is a kind of mixed thing. The camera has two microphones, a front microphone and a top microphone. And they work together and do a fairly good job of canceling out wind noise, but they're not perfect. And the camera does not have the option, as it comes, to attach an external microphone with a wind muff. So that is a factor that I would, like it if it had a jack. I can understand why it doesn't, because the camera is designed to be used in the water, and if it had a microphone jack, it would be, another potential point for water to get into the camera. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons it doesn't have an external microphone jack, but it'd be nice if it had one. And those are the main things that I found I don't like about it. Overall, I think it does really nice videos, particularly if the camera isn't moving very much. Like now, this is handheld, and the stabilization is pretty much eliminating all the motion that I put in it, as my hand shakes a little bit or something, and really does a good job of that. But if I pan here a little more quickly, you can probably see, if you look at the edges of the video, that there is some pixelation. And, the Nikon didn't have that when I panned it, but I couldn't, unless I put it on a tripod, I couldn't hold the camera that steady. So a pan like that would have been pretty jerky, but the image would have been sharp all the way around, because, the 24 megapixel images that the Nikon creates are really, really sharp, particularly with the very high quality Nikkor lenses. But I wanted to go with this small camera, and that's the main reason. So let me summarize a little bit again what I bought. I bought a GoPro Hero 9 Black with the bundle for $349. $49 of that went for a GoPro subscription, which has some advantages. It'll get me discounts if I decide to buy any add-ons for the camera, but I don't think I'll use the cloud storage or any of the other things that came with it. So that's a consideration. So that was kind of $49 that I may recover by buying add-ons for the camera, or I may not if I decide I don't want to buy any add-ons. Oh, I forgot one other thing I'm not that fond of. The camera did not come with a battery charger, even though it came with two batteries. As is, the only way I can charge them is by plugging the camera into a USB source and just letting it sit. And it takes, if the battery's fully flat, it takes a couple of hours to recharge. So that's kind of a pain. I wish it had come with a battery charger, but like it turns out everything is with GoPro, that is an optional add-on. So I got the camera, I got a handle, which I showed you in the picture. There are two things they call buckles, which are used to attach the camera to things like the handle. A couple of thumb screws to attach the camera to the buckle. And I got two batteries, a carrying case, and a USB cable, a 1-foot USB cable to connect the camera to a charging source, or in theory to my computer for file transfer, although I cannot get it to work. Another thing that I found that I quite like about the camera is the voice control. I can turn the camera on and off, do all sorts of things with it, and start and stop video just with a voice command, which is nice, particularly in a winter where I'm wearing gloves, and the button that you have to push is a little bit difficult to push with big, thick gloves on. So voice control is a nice feature to have. So that is what I got. I think it has upped the quality of my YouTube channel videos. I hope you think so. If you do, please let me know, either in a comment or just give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click that notification bell. Thanks for watching.